A massive thank you to RFC, 6Nix, a random Polish, Nexus and Andrew for subscribing to the channel. If you're not featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 18 of season 1 of the F1 22 My Team career mode. Yesterday we're here back ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video from Singapore, definitely recommend going back and checking that one out. Of course, yeah, we've been on a bit of a run over the last couple of races. It feels good to say, finally, on F1 22. But of course, as well, before we jump into that, a massive thank you to all of you guys for the insane and continued support. At the time of recording this, we are just a few subscribers away from 68,000. So, you know, if you're new already and you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Try and help us get to 100k by the end of the year there. You know, you guys have just been absolutely smashing it since F1 22 got released just a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, today though we head to Suzuka, and sadly big news before we jump into the weekend. Fernando Alonso, the end of this year, he's going to be leaving Formula 1 and Alpine there, so I guess we can hope that Oscar Piastri gets that drive there, but we are going to see some driver moves then come the end of season 1. Of course, as well, I put out a poll yesterday night for whether you guys want me to see broadcast safety car disabled for season 2 of this career mode, so, you know, definitely would recommend going back and voting on that one. You know, have your say. I'm going to be running a couple more polls over the next couple of days for this career mode, so yeah, definitely recommend going and checking out the community tab here on YouTube just to make sure you get your say, so I know what you guys want ready for season 2 there. But championship wise though, Charles Leclerc, 5 races to go over the year, still with an 89-point lead over his teammate Carlos Sainz there, but Hamilton and Verstappen rapidly closing in on the Spaniard after a crazy weekend from Singapore there. There's really a lot to play for throughout the entirety of the championship order there. Perez and George Russell battling for best of the number 2s. Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon, as well as Kevin Magnussen, all driving for best of the rest come the end of the season there. And constructors wise, we're now just 1 point behind AlphaTauri as we head into these final few races there. 5 points behind Aston Martin as well. We might need a bit of a miracle to try and close up to them by the end of the year, but we've had a decent run, like I said, over the last couple of races. Fingers crossed that can continue today. Let's get into it then here from Suzuka. Right, well, here we are then for a drift event at Suzuka. We've got 3 minutes. We've got to try and get 12,500 points in the Ferrari Roma. And I'm kind of thinking, you know, the S's around here, they should suit some drifting, I think. You know, I've often seen, you know, a few clips online, especially if you come to Japan anyway. You know, it is the home of drifting around the world. But, yeah, I don't think a Ferrari Roma is... Oh, would it be their first choice of a drift car? I'm not convinced. You know, maybe you might get like a 240 SX or an old GTR Skyline, something like that might be a bit of a priority, but let's see if we can try and get all the back end out and nice and sideways. There we go, 1,000 points pretty much through the first turns. That's what you love to see. Really hoping we can just kind of smash this one. I've kind of learnt now the key with the drift events is just to make sure you actually bank all the points, you know. There's no point risking a massive slide if you're not going to be able to walk away with the R&D there. As look at that. Oh, sorry, with the not the R&D points. Sorry, it would be good if you got R&D points from these events, but I don't think it's ever quite going to happen there. As look at that, 2,500 points just through the S's there. We're already over a quarter of the way towards the score. But I don't think we're quite going to wrap up the purple score there. As yeah, certainly don't think my wheel's a big fan of drifting on the F1 games, and that's going to really put pay to any gold score there. But I mean, we'll take another silver medal, kind of settling for him now on F1 22. I guess we should jump into practice then here at Suzuka.
Okay, I need your attention. The tech regulations are changing. There's a risk some of our hard work will be undone, so we need to mitigate it. As soon as you can, I want you to look at the developments we have and tell us what areas you want to invest in protecting.
Right, well, looks like we're going to have some rule changes then ready for Season 2 of this career mode. What departments do we need changing then? It's aero and powertrain. I guess that's not too bad then at the moment. We've got 8 aerodynamic parts that need to be sorted and 8 on the engine side of things as well there. So yeah, we're going to have to try and really just farm up R&D points over these last couple of race weekends of the year to make sure we try and get the jump on a few other teams there. But Renault as well have brought a load of upgrades this weekend. Look at that, down in the bottom row. But yeah, fingers crossed that we can try and get all those sorted. Therefore, we'll need some good practice programs to earn the R&D we need to, fingers crossed, get the car ready for Season 2 so we can jump up the order. Right, so effectively then, we've got 15 practice programs between now and the end of the season that we need to get nailed. Should be a fair amount of R&D points though if we do, and of course you get a little bit more for qualifying and the race as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. They're going to need a lot of purple scores to finish out the year, and let's try and start that then with a fuel run here at Suzuka. Of course, Suzuka as well, such an old school circuit, really trying to avoid some of the bumps, especially around the second half of the lap there. You just feel the wheel rattle underneath you. But, you know, this is part of the charm of some of the older school circuits as we head down in towards the Casio Triangle. Suzuka, yeah, often hasn't been a track that's been particularly kind to me on past F1 games, but out of the final corner, are we going to get a purple score? Just lift and coast up to the line? Yes, we are. Right, tyre wear run then. Next up, and yeah, can't believe Fernando Alonso, just 5 races left to go of his Formula 1 career, but yeah, what a Formula 1 career it's been, and certainly had some stories around this track as well as Fernando. Of course, that iconic move around the outside of Michael Schumacher way back when. That was even before I managed to get into Formula 1, but anyway, tyre wear run though for us. Not been too kind through the S's, but fingers crossed we'll find the delta as the lap unfolds. An end then of our first lap. That is going to just about be the delta, but certainly not the tyre wear. Often haven't struggled too badly with tyre wear around this circuit, so fingers crossed if we get a bit of a tidier run through the S's, then maybe we'll be able to be a little bit better. Rounding out of the final corner then, I think this time around it's going to be a much different story. We're just going to clutch up the purple. That's what we need. I always forget I can use battery on the tyre wear runs. Well, those of you that weren't a fan of Suzuka on F1 2021 probably aren't going to enjoy it too much more on F1 22. It is still a brutal circuit with very little room for error, especially through the first half of the lap. Basically what I'm saying is the curbs are still lethal around this circuit. Yeah, trying to avoid all the bumps on the inside as you head over the east. Is it the east layout or the west layout? I can never remember. Over the start-finish line there, of course, always for me, whenever I go through there now, I just think the iconic footage of Ayrton Senna going round in the Honda NSX in his slippers, pretty much. You know, just if you've never seen that footage, I would highly recommend finding it on YouTube, because it's just ridiculous. Oh, come on, Latifi, don't slow down in the middle of the S's, man. Just get out of the way or get on with it, please. Thank you. No! Latifi, why? You're... Oh, I almost got very, very angry there. You guys laughed at me for calling Alex Albon rude names back at Hungary, but I refrained myself that time, but I was very, very tempted. Road rage almost got the better of me. Well, coming towards the end then of my race simulation run, fingers crossed second half of the lap we always go a lot quicker, just because you can use the battery down the straights. But yeah, just noticing we've got quite a lot of wear still showing up on some of the engine components, so I'm honestly tempted, before we jump into qualifying, just put a whole fresh engine into the car. So then of course we've got a new one to use in the pool throughout the final 5 races of the year. I always knew we were going to have some engine penalties anyway, so yeah, we might as well just do that here at Suzuka, have a whole fresh engine, and then if we need to, we can swap out a few last bits in the final 4 races after today. But round in the final corner, perfect practice session. Absolutely love that. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Well, there we go then, just to confirm, I think we are pretty much going to be starting at the back then here at Suzuka, but we have got a fresh engine with a lot of ponies in it to see us hopefully through these final 5 races of the year. Just didn't bother... Oh, I've clicked the brake rather than the DRS to start my first lap here in qualifying. Fingers crossed that won't cost us too much. But yeah, Suzuka qualifying day, always a difficult one. Shouldn't need to risk the car too much though, like I said, because we are starting at the back. But would be nice to know how much pace we have got still. Esteban Ocon then, currently fastest on a 31.0. I'm sure we'll see the top guys easily dip down into the 29s by the end of qualifying there. But through 130 we go. That's really where you feel the ground effect working as Lando Norris down into the 29s. So we might see some even faster times then by the front runners as out of the final corner. Roll on the power down towards the line. It's going to be a 30.6. Slower than Felipe though, that's quite a surprise, but we'll take that considering I accidentally pressed the brakes to start the lap, as there's Latifi. You know what? Yeah, we'll do that. Right, let's see what we can do then on our second lap time here from Suzuka. We'll try and aim to go under 90 seconds then as longest run up towards the line. And immediately we should find a bit of delta as we head down towards the first corner. So yeah, we had easily thrown ourselves away a tenth of a second or so before we even got into turn 1, but that's not going to help us out. Immediately, all that time we just gained, I'm pretty much going to throw away there as we head now through the S's at the end of the first run. So we'll have to wait and see. As long as I get a nice tidy run through the Casio Triangle, we can definitely go quicker than my Brazilian teammate. As down in towards the final couple of turns we go there. Try and get as close to those bollards as you dare. Roll on the throttle on the exit, up towards the line. It is going to be a 30.1. And that puts us 12th then, so we are definitely in the fight this weekend. You know, we spent so much of the mid-season struggling, but we've now definitely got a car that's close enough as Latifi's 10th. Right, everyone out then for their final runs. I'm sure this will be now where we were really happy to be nestled up towards the top 10, and then suddenly we'll end up down in about P18 still, but out of the final corner. Definitely need to try and beat that time set by Nicholas Latifi there of a 29.7, so we need about another 4 tenths then on this final qualifying lap though. We're going to try and get the lap hooked up as we head down into turn 1. Oh, that was tidier. There we go, look at that immediately. A couple of tenths found, but just got to try and make sure you maintain the momentum as you head through the S's. No really best line through here, you just got to try and dance the way through the curves and try and get the nose pointed where you want it. It's heading out then. Oh, using all the track space on the exit of Dunlop there as you head up towards the top of the hill. Braking again just for the 50-metre board. Trying to just keep it a bit calm and collected this time round, as it is throwing away a little bit of time for me. No, there's some time here though. You can actually get the car down towards the apex. That's what you love to see. And then roll on the throttle on the exit there. You can see now 3 tenths up as we head in towards the final few turns then of the lap. We definitely made a bit of a mistake through Spoon last time through as well. So really lean on the curbs that time around. Going to leave it in 5th gear there. Try and get on the throttle on the exit using all the curb we possibly can. You can see now the time is coming for us. 4.5 tenths up as we head down in towards the final couple of turns. Don't mess it up now. And this could be one of my laps of the season, especially when you consider just how hard it is to nail a lap at Suzuka. Through the Casio Triangle we go. And out up towards the line then. 5 tenths up as we head out of the final corner. That's P11! Love that! I mean, there's no point doing a Q2 run, but still. And there we go then. Talk about a lap in qualifying there. George Russell on a 28.0. Half a second clear of Lewis Hamilton there. But Sainz, Verstappen, Perez. Charles Leclerc only down in 9th place there. Not too sure what happened to him. I mean, we were only 2 tenths away from the Ferrari there. But look at that. 9 tenths clear of our teammate Felipe Drugovich. We just found more and more pace as the laps went on, and we've definitely got a quick car this weekend here at Suzuka. Like I said, we've got some grid penalties though. I'm going to try and do one glory run though in Q2, just because we may as well. So a minute left on the clock here in Q2. We've only got the 1 set of tyres, so like I said, it is basically just going to be a glory run here at the end of the session. But I'm sure, yeah, myself and Latifi both very, very happy to be making it through into Q2, and I think the Canadian has done a 1 minute 30.0, so as long as I can dip back into the 29s and qualify him, I'll probably walk away quite a happy man there as well. Not the line we wanted through turn 1, I got the car rotated through the second part, so we haven't actually lost too much there. And we may as well just... I don't really want to risk it all. I don't want to give the team a load of work to do overnight, but we'll wait and see as we head up through the S's once more. Oh, you just drop the car off the curb there, and it really does rattle it around as we head through the Degners. Let's see, keeping it clean and tidy once again. They're fourth gear. It's still trying to break traction in fourth gear on the exit. That's just how much torque these cars have got nowadays as we head through the hairpin. Oh, accidentally double shifted there on the exit. That's going to cost us a little bit, but like I just said, so much torque from these cars. You can get away with it. It's down in towards Spoon. Just trying to brake a little bit earlier there. Again, using all of the curbing though. On both entry, midway, and on exit as we head now down in towards 130 car to finish off our final qualifying run then. A couple of tenths away from Zhou Guanyu at the moment, who is for some reason our benchmark. So we head down in towards Casio Triangle, slamming the anchors just at the 100 metre wall there, attack the curbs on the way in, up one gear, attack the curbs on the way out there, a little bit of a wriggle as we try and put down the throttle, but up towards the line, it's a 29.6 again, P13. There we go, we will absolutely take that at the end of qualifying. There is Hamilton now, fastest in Q2, but both Haas and both Alpines into Q3 there, so a fantastic job done by them. But look at Sainz! From being so much quicker than his teammate in Q1 there, Sainz clearly with some issues meant he couldn't go on a Q2 run, but we were just 9 thousandths away from Zhou Guanyu as well, so we've definitely got some pace in the car. Grid penalties are going to see us a bit further back down the order, but let's get into it then here for the Japanese Grand Prix.
This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
We come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Norris. Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, Ocon, and Sebastian Vettel. Sainz, Stroll, Mick Schumacher. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Albon, Bottas, Joe, Mr. Monaco, and Yuki Tsunoda. They've taken a grid penalty. Latifi, Drugovich, Ricciardo, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss Red Bull? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well, here we are then on the grid, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix here from Suzuka. Starting P17, actually a little bit higher up the order than I originally thought we would, but yeah, fingers crossed today we can keep it clean and tidy. 27 laps ahead of us around the Suzuka circuit. Luckily, again, another race where we shouldn't see any changeable conditions. But yeah, fingers crossed today, though. You know, after the pace we showed in qualifying, I want to believe, you know, maybe we can try and fight around the points here today. But a long old race ahead of us. Super easy as well to make mistakes here at Suzuka. And looks like a lot of cars around me are starting on soft compound tyres. So that might make things interesting then. In the early laps, we're going to have a lot of cars quicker than me. Are they on a different strategy? Seal triangle then. Let's see if George Russell can go on a bit of a tear then. Of course, took his very first F1 victory just a couple of weeks ago at Singapore. And I'm sure our fellow Brit would love to make it 2 in a row. But he's got Hamilton alongside him, Charles Leclerc in P3. Who, of course, yeah, just wants to further extend his lead in the championship here today. But got to try and get some heats into the rubber. We got homeboy Tsunoda alongside me as well. Let's see what we can do. Purple on the grid, love that.
Nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts.
Right, let's do this thing then. Here from Suzuka, round 18 of the year. Only 5 races to go, 5 red lights, and it is going to be very long hold, but lights out and away we go. And of course, so many cars around me on a set of soft compound tyres. They're not the best run as we head down towards Sermon, but that's not going to stop me trying to be really aggressive there through the first corner, around the outside of a couple of cars. I think, yeah, we've pulled off the move. Oh, still side by side, actually, with Zhou Guanyu. It's cold rubber there. I apologise to the young Chinese driver, just slowly squeezing him out. I think Tsunoda has snuck by as well, though, so despite starting on the harder rubber, we have made up a place then off the start in this Grand Prix. We've got Alex Albon just in front of me, but Tsunoda, Zhou Guanyu, of course, yeah, on softer rubber. They're going to be able to fire up those tyres a whole lot quicker than I'm going to be able to here early on in the Grand Prix. We've just got to keep things clean and tidy at the start as we head down into the hairpin. A lot of cars trying to find different spaces, so we'll try and send it around the outside of Alex Albon there, and that was a cheeky little move on this opening lap. Up to P15 then, early on here in the Japanese Grand Prix. But now I'm really wondering, what strategy are a lot of the AI going with? Are they going to try and go soft mediums later on in the afternoon there as Albon thinks about a move back up the inside at Spoon? Could we try and extend this stint to sort of the end of lap 14, end of lap 15, and then maybe go soft tyres to the end of the Grand Prix there as Carlos Sainz a little way up the road? Oh, thought about having a look. I think that was on, was that Lance Stroll? Or I think that might have been Esteban Ocon in the Alpine. But Sainz, yeah, still down in P12 at the moment. And of course, Charles Leclerc with a big championship lead here. He only needs to outscore Sainz, I think, by 15 points. If my maths hasn't failed me, he would leave Japan as world champion with 4 races to go. It's been a dominant display by Ferrari, but Charles Leclerc just seems to have been that bit better all year long over Sainz. Oh, Valtteri Bottas, I think, has just got into the back of Mick Schumacher here in this Grand Prix as we almost do the same to the Finn. As Alex Albon's still really, really feisty here early on in this Grand Prix. Maybe not happy with the battle we had last time out at Suzuka, but surely Bottas is going to start struggling in that Alfa Romeo. Then if he has picked up damage, he's not losing much actually through the corners, but surely that's just going to make those tyres wear even quicker in this race. And there we go, Bottas in at the end of lap 2 there, so a nightmare start for the Finn in this Grand Prix. Luckily we are within the 1 second of Mick Schumacher up the road there, but 17th to 14th early on. That's not going to help me though. You still cannot use that curb on F122. Oh, we've got yellow flags out. Oh, Carlos Sainz! I think Sainz falling out of the Grand Prix there, as I think that was Latifi as well, being flashed up on the radar with some issues. But Sainz out here it's Suzuka, and that means surely Charles Leclerc now has got a golden opportunity to wrap up the World Championship here today. I think he's only in P4 at the moment, so it wouldn't be enough to make the difference now. But Charles Leclerc is, well, he can't lose any lead in his championship over Carlos Sainz. But Hamilton and Verstappen are surely sensing an opportunity to try and sneak away runner-up honours. I'm not really taking much time out of Mick Schumacher at the moment, but I'm far more worried about both those Aston Martins that are currently sat in the points, there's still a small part of me that believes we can jump them by the end of the year, or at least we're certainly going to keep pushing to do so, because the prize money could be absolutely critical come the end of the season. But yeah, I think Lance Stroll just holding up Kevin Magnussen and Esteban Ocon at the moment, as Sebastian Vettel, he's a little bit further up the road. You know, they brought a lot of upgrades in recent weeks, and at the moment, it really seems to be paying off for them. Oh, I think that was an Aston Martin of Lance Stroll running a bit wide down at turn 1, and that's now unleashed Kevin Magnussen and Esteban Ocon in this Grand Prix. Like I said, I'm wondering if Aston Martin, you know, I'm just basing this on the theoretical pace, they should still be a little bit slower than the Haas and the Alpine, so I think they were just trying to sort of park the bus early on here. But I mean, if Stroll, yeah, can continue to hold up Mick Schumacher, as actually Stroll's on soft tyres, so maybe the tyre wear is what's starting to get to him at this stage of the Grand Prix. Perhaps Seb's on the same strategy. We often find teams go on the same strategy on F1 22, as Schumacher tried to have a look at the inside of Stroll at the hairpin. I definitely shouldn't be in third gear through there. But yeah, at the moment, we're just now right on the cusp of the 1 second zone. This could really start to change up this race. Oh, there we go. Stroll into the pits at the end of lap 8 there. Seems a little bit early to be coming in onto a fresh set of tyres. We've got yellow flags out as well. Someone's going slowly. Is that the Alfa Romeo of Zhou Guanyu? I'm not too sure who's going slowly at the moment. It's all kicking off. I think it is Zhou Guanyu who might be dropping to the wayside then in this Grand Prix. And the Alfa Romeo man also out. So there's a lot of cars that on paper should be quicker than me. And we're now not far away from the points. Yeah, that definitely seemed like an early stop from Lance Stroll in this Grand Prix. Otherwise, my plan to go mediums to softs might not work out all too well. As there we go, Sebastian Vettel in only 1 lap later. So clearly the tyres can only do, yeah, 10, maybe 11 laps. That being said, of course, they have had to use them since the start of the Grand Prix, but looks like, I think I just saw Seb flash up on a set of hards. So they're still trying to go to the end on those tyres. Like I said, if we can try and drag these to about lap 15, I'm still willing to try and take the risk towards the end of the Grand Prix here, as we are now right outside the points. At the moment, I'm really just trying to make sure we stay inside the DRS range of Mick Schumacher, trying to look after the tyres as best as possible as well there as we head through the Casio Triangle. Yeah, don't really feel like we've got much extra pace to try and move past the Haas, as there we go, Team 1 us in. I'm going to remember to change the tyre strategy, because I certainly have got no intention of going on to hards unless we have to.
9.2 seconds.
Like I said, if I reckon we can get these to lap 15, of course we'll have less fuel in the car for the second half of the race, and we'll have already sort of warmed into it. It's a gamble, but I want to score points today. More yellow flags out. I think it's Valtteri Bottas now. So both Alfa Romeos then with issues here at Suzuka, and that's going to be our 3rd Ferrari power unit failure as well from this event there, as we've got other cars into the pit lane as well. A safety car now could really spice up this Grand Prix a little bit, but Bottas slowing down as he heads through Dunlop there, and I think the Finn is out of the Japanese Grand Prix. Where are we going to move up to now? Is everyone else into the pit lane? We're going to be up into 6th. But heartbreak for Bottas. Alfa Romeo have had a weekend to forget, both cars out by the halfway stage. So there we go, Mick Schumacher in the end of the next lap. We might actually lead here at Suzuka, as where is George Russell going to re-emerge? No, I think George Russell going to just be a little bit too far ahead there, so we're not going to get our first laps led in this My Team career mode. But Drugovich into the pit lane as well. Saying that, George Russell is going to be slow on this cold rubber, but we've still got to try and nurse the tyres around at the moment. Got to just try and take him pretty much 2 extra laps in this Grand Prix, as George Russell, you can see he's definitely struggling. Yeah, Mark just warning us about the tyres then as we come towards the end of lap 15. They've actually hung on a bit better than I thought they would, but they are certainly now pretty much at the end of their usable life, as Hamilton might try and get a run on me. Oh, he's definitely going to get a run on me if I get that line out onto the back straightaway. And Lewis Hamilton, please don't say, why is the Merc not got enough straight line speed side by side through 130R? That's not where I wanted to be there, and somehow we've accidentally done it on Lewis Hamilton there. Completely not my intention, as this is getting really annoying. Come on, Lewis. Neither of us want to have this fight as we head into the pit lane. Yeah, don't know what that was all about from Lewis Hamilton, but make sure we get the car slowed down nice and tidily there. Yeah, like I said, quite surprised actually with just how well the tyres have hung on, but if ever We needed a good pit stop. It needs to be here, right now. Optimal on the turn-in. Please, team, don't mess this up. 2.4, yes!
Faster than we were expecting.
That's what we needed then. So where are we going to re-emerge in this Grand Prix? We're going to be out right still near Mick.
One stop to go.
So we haven't really gained anything, haven't really lost anything here. But now we're going to be on 2 stages of faster tyres to the end. We've just got to try and get some heat in them first, as Mick's probably going to gain a little bit of time this lap. And then we have got to let the chase commence. Now we've got the tyres up to temperature, we're able to attack the curves a bit more and try to close up to Mick Schumacher then. As we head out of the final corner, are we going to be close enough with the DRS to get a run back down towards turn 1? I'm not convinced we are going to be this time round. So we'll just sit back as we get in towards turn 1 there. But just got to be careful as well. Yeah, we are going to have to look after this rubber through to the end of the Grand Prix. But I can see Mick Schumacher, of course, right in front of me. Sebastian Vettel only 2 seconds up the road. The Aston Martin is going to have to really nurse his tyres through to the checkered flag there as well. Just a bit too much curve. Back end was not a fan of that one. Good out today as we've always had good top end speed there. As you see Mick Schumacher desperate to try and put the power down in front of me as we head out down the back straight. Are we going to be able to look for a move now as we head in towards 130? We're going to sit back for now. Oh, I'll get right under Mick Schumacher though. On the exit the corner here, down in towards the Casio triangle. The Haas man going to aggressively try and hang on to the place there. We're going to get a nice run though out of the final corner, and we've still got the DRS, so surely now this is effectively a done deal then as Schumacher goes defensive on the run back down towards someone there. Clean around the outside of the Haas we go, and as we cross over 2/3 distance here at Suzuka, we're now up into P11 of this race. 1 place outside the points, and it's Sebastian Vettel who is the man between us and potentially our 3rd points finish in a row. Yeah, really have got to try and make the move though on Sebastian Vettel here, because effectively that 10th place is worth 2 points, because it's a point we gain and a point Aston Martin lose at this stage of the championship. And also, of course, if we got that 10th, we'd then be tied with AlphaTauri on points as we head in towards the final 4 rounds. I'm definitely not going to be pitting again in this race unless something goes disastrously wrong, Mark. But Sebastian Vettel is right there in front of me. We can get the DRS. We can certainly look for a move. A couple of turns then, 1 lap later. We're all over the back of Sebastian Vettel. And are we going to be close enough to get the run back down towards turn 1? The Aston Martin here. We're gaining on Sebastian to the inside towards turn 1. And Seb does back out of it then. We just about get the car slowed down through the first corner, and now up into the points here at Suzuka. I mean, up on a Magnussen aren't that far up the road, but we have got to try and nurse these tyres towards the end as well. They have taken a lot of wear through these opening, well, effectively we're halfway through the stint, and yeah, those tyres are not looking great. I've only just realised now how badly we've destroyed the front tyres during the early laps of this stint then. They're already at over 50% wear here. So, 54! They've gone up 5% in half a lap! Oh, this is not good. We are really going to have to try and nurse them towards the checkered flag. Otherwise, they're going to be pretty much at punctures. Oh, this is not reassuring. I mean, this has effectively become a drive to the tyres explode challenge late on here at Suzuka. I always thought the strategy was brave, but I didn't think it would be this bad this quickly, as, yeah, 4 laps to go. Tyre wear warning already on. Luckily, of course, we're going to lose time through the bits that is far easier to defend on. We know we've got good top-end speed still in the car, so we can try and keep Seb at bay down the straights, but it's through the twisty bits we are really going to be in a world of hurt. Just try and gently turn the car in. Got to be super smooth on all the inputs now. Oh, 3 laps to go, and you can just see how bad the tyres are already out. I mean, this is really getting close to puncture territory now. I don't actually know what percentage punctures start on F1 22, but we are just sitting in the way of Sebastian Vettel. Luckily, like I said, you know, it's not the easiest track to overtake on, and we're very, very quick down the straight. So we've got Seb and Mick now both all over the back of me there, as Seb going to try and look around the outside down at the hairpin. We're going to leave them to go side by side on the exit the corner there, as we're just having to use lots of battery around this part of the circuit. Seb's hung on this time round as we head down through Spoon. Just having to be super delicate through with the tyres there. Almost now at 80% And look at that, we just can't get the run off the corners here. Sebastian Vettel going to try and have a look to the outside there, but the Aston Martin hasn't got enough top-end speed at the moment as we just hang on through 130R. 2 more laps to go. We're starting to get to the end of lap 26 here as Mick Schumacher's actually got the jump on Sebastian Vettel there. Went for a bit of a send down at 130R, but these tyres are absolutely on the brink. If we get a puncture on this final lap, it is going to be absolutely heartbreaking here. And up to now, we've just about had enough to try and defend from these guys. But oh no, Mick Schumacher, he's got a huge run as we head back down towards someone there. I'm going to try and do what his dad did to Rubens Barrichello all those years ago, round the outside through turn 1. We have to make this work, but we haven't got enough. Mick Schumacher, no! He's snuck by on the final lap of this Grand Prix. And I mean, surely now, as we get back into the S's, there is exactly nothing we can do here at Suzuka. I said we had to take the risk. I said we had to gamble it today if we wanted any chance at points. And to be honest, we're probably a little bit lucky. It's Mick that's made it through and not Sebastian Vettel here. But we threw absolutely everything at this Grand Prix today. Look at those tyres, all of them at over 78% wear here on this final lap. We have absolutely done a drive to the tyres explode as well. A bit of a lock up down at the hairpin. Said we do not want to be on my outside because there's going to be no room for you on the exit there. George Russell, he's going to come through 2 race victories in a row now for our fellow Brit. He's really found his feet in the latter stages of the year. Hamilton's going to come through for P2. We're going to make a bit of a mistake through Spoon. And it is Sebastian Vettel now going to be able to get a run off the corner. I think Max Verstappen hung on to P3 ahead of Charles Leclerc. And we're going to be side by side with Sebastian Vettel down in towards 130R in the final lap of this Grand Prix. Oh, we ran a little bit wide there, but we keep it side by side with the German. I apologise so much, Seb. We had to go for it, though. We absolutely had to get our elbows out through the final corner. 94% wear. It has gone on me as we head up towards the line. We're going to have nothing to show for it, and we're only going to come through for P17.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Done it then, here at Suzuka. A brilliant win on the beloved figure-of-8 circuit. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Daniel Ricciardo certainly impressed me today, an incredible performance.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today, as they make their way up the standings. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Japanese Grand Prix, and George Russell, 2 out of 2 there. Pole position, fastest lap race victory, 26 points on the board for the Brit ahead of his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen comes through for P3 there by just 18 thousandths of a second, denies Charles Leclerc his World Championship this weekend. Charles will have to wait until the USA next time out there. But Lando Norris in P5 ahead of Perez, Alonso, Ocon, and then both Haas cars rounding out the top 10 at the checkered flag there. Ricciardo actually jumped Seb, and I cannot believe after all of that we only come through for P17 there. It does not show the pace we had throughout the entirety of the Grand Prix today. But both Alphas and the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz out at the end of the GP there. It does mean Drivers' Championship-wise, Hamilton is now up into P2 of the championship. So if Charles Leclerc wants to win the next time out at COTA, he actually only needs to, he can afford to lose, 17 points to Hamilton? No, more than that, isn't it? He can afford to lose 21 points to Lewis Hamilton next time out at COTA, and he will still be world champion there. As long as Charles Leclerc leaves that weekend with a 78-point lead, he will be world champion there. Sainz still in P3 ahead of Max Verstappen there, just 6 points covering those three drivers now in the battle for P2. George Russell launches his way past Sergio Perez there as Lando Norris building up a little bit of safety in P7 there, best of the rest. No other movers though, Drivers' Championship-wise. Constructors though, with another 1-2, Mercedes jump Red Bull, Alpine jump Haas as well after another solid point score. And yeah, that's heartbreaking, the fact we still sit 1 point behind AlphaTauri as we head in towards the final few races of the year. But thank you all so much for watching nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will return very, very soon. We head to COTA, you guys do not want to miss that.
None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.